So I think we might have found what is one of the performances that are star making. We have found what I will call a star making performance. Because I'm going to be honest, like Caitlyn Clark versus Michigan was it Michigan? When Caitlyn Clark, when they had like 6 players during COVID and she nearly won an entire game, dragged them back in by herself and they ended up losing. That was one of those games where that was the star making performance. That was absolutely the star making performance from her. We might have seen a star making performance in a loss from Silas Swords. And Silas Swords last year was one of the best freshmen in the nation. I'll say one of the best because I don't know if I'm not going to go out there and say she was Michaela Blake's good, Joyce Edwards good, or what you call it, or Sarah Strong good. But I'm gonna be honest. Like, she is one of the top sophomores in the nation, and like we're now at a stage where you've got say her, Joyce Edwards, Juju, Sarah Strong, Michaela Blake's in the same class, and she's in that conversation. And not only that, you got to just watch what she did yesterday. This is one of those star-making performances. I don't care that they lost. They dug themselves a 17 or 20-point hole in the first half against UConn, where you're not meant to be able to come back against a team like UConn. Doing it in a face mask. Pull-up three, boom. Their first bucket of the game. And by the way, she might be the most unorthodox scorer. If you guys don't remember, she had like 26 or something in her first ever college game. Like, she hooped in her first ever college game against South Carolina, where Michigan nearly won. She went toe-to-toe and arguably outplayed Juju Watkins in the Big Ten tournament last year. But yeah, comes in, steps into it, boom. And she's just very unorthodox with how she scores in general. When she's not shooting the three, she's just unorthodox. But again, their comeback, a lot of it was off the back of Silas Swords. And again, it's just such a pure, just scoring ability. That drift is impressive. Shot goes up, bang. So it needs a game. But at this point here is where a legend was born. They're down 13 points with 3 minutes to go. This is where a legend was born. Drives in on Kaylee Heckle, passes it in. There's a miss, then she goes and one. Realistically, should have got the assist there. Comes across, down 6, fading right, boom. 3-point game, 49 seconds to go. They go down and score. She comes off another screen, fading right again, bang. 2-point game, 22 seconds to go. They run an inbound play. They're trying to lock her down. She comes off another flare screen, goes left, pulls up from Caitlin Rage, bang. Like, that reminds me so much of Caitlyn Clark against Michigan. You've got College Sports Only calling her the Canadian Caitlyn Clark. Like, that's all people are talking about. Silas Swords pulled up like Caitlyn Clark. Really hate Michigan. Didn't beat UConn. AZ Foot's a great player. AZ Foot's really fucking good. Lisa Bluer said Michigan women's basketball team gave Caitlyn Clark a gift following the game. They all wrote Caitlyn signed. That's obviously it's after the game. But it reminds me of this game here. Like, I don't really care. Like, she was unbelievable. But it just reminds me of this, where they're down 12, 6 minutes to go. And Caitlyn Clark just goes, bang. Let me just pull. Maybe what Silas Swords did was not from quite as deep. Maybe it's not from... Because this is the first time I remember being like, holy shit, who is this Caitlyn Clark? It was this game right here. Where she just went on an absolute tear. It didn't really matter what teams were trying to do. I've kind of underestimated how good this was. I undersold how good this was from Caitlyn Clark. Because holy shit, those shots are mental. But at the same time, this might be the closest thing we've seen to it. This might actually be the closest thing we've seen to it. And she could be, like, if there's anyone that's going to be the next Caitlyn Clark, they have to be good. So your Kiyomi McMillers of the world, aren't really these microwave scorers. And Silas Swords has already been really good for the Canadian national team. She's been a really good player for the senior Canada national team. She's already one of their best players. She's probably, if you're asking me who is the best scorer on the Canadian national team, it's going to be, like, very soon it's going to be Silas Swords. She was on the Olympic team, didn't play much, obviously, because she was a high school student. But, like, she is genuinely the closest thing. She might end up being the closest thing to a Caitlyn Clark when it comes to college. And I know it's a kind of crazy expectation to put on Silas Swords because, let's be real, one of the most viewed videos on her is like a feature about her calling her the next Caitlyn Clark. And look, there may never be a next Caitlyn Clark. There's probably only one Caitlyn Clark. But I'm telling you, when we talk about the draft class, the 2024 draft class being so big, this year's draft class, or that year, sorry, not this year's, 2028 draft class could be equally as big because all it's going to take, especially if Juju goes and stays in college for an extra year, all it's going to take is like one of Swords, Michaela Blake's, and Michaela Blake's is a fucking phenom as well. Like, if you're watching Michaela Blake, she's so good. Her, Swords, like, Joyce Edwards is good, but like South Carolina are never going to really get the general public watching. But these players and this Michigan team with her and Olivia Olsen there, like, they're going to be, they could be a must-watch team in women's college ball. Like, I'm trying to think of teams that I like really liked watching last year. I really liked watching that Notre Dame team because it was stacked. And this year it doesn't feel like anyone's stacked. It feels like UConn have taken a step back, but they're still better. Like, it feels like they're worse than last year, but they're still better, if you get me. So, or they're still, better in comparison. I just don't feel like there's a Juju, Kiki Riafen, Kaylee Heckel, Avery Howell, Rhea Marshall team just sitting there. Like, I think Iowa losing Lucy Olsen's huge, but yeah, Iowa might make the Elite Eight this year. They might fuck about and make the Elite Eight. So yeah, it is an interesting one here, but no, I'm very, very impressed with how Silas Swords has been doing. And I've been impressed, if you guys have been looking at this channel, I've been impressed with Silas Swords like since her first game. I've been really impressed with her since her first game. Because I was kind of keeping an eye out for her because I watched the Olympics and just saw they were like, everyone's talking about this high school player being on the Canadian team. And I was like, shit, like, it doesn't, I wouldn't, I'm surprised about that. And she's been as good as advertised. And not only that, again, it's not like Michigan are just Silas Swords either. You've got Olivia Olsen, who you can make the argument is better. Not as fun to watch and not as capable of doing shit like this. But, like, you can definitely argue is a better player. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. That is the video. I will see you guys.